Does the process change at all? Don't I still have a table with 4 spots? Or don't I have 4 multiplications, right?
Yeah.
The process is the same, just the fractions are a little scarce. So for those of you guys just joining us, we were doing an opener where each person in our groups were taking turns. They were solving these problems using whichever method they liked or they chose. Their group was double checking their work. Maybe they were doing the box. Maybe they were doing the distribution. I'm not going to go through each and every method, just showing what you could have done. Over, under, over. But each of them were able to get to 1 and 2 and 4, at least for the most part. They didn't seem too scared until number 3. So, we're zooming in on number 3.
Okay, I only multiply. No, that was
Alright, let's see. Who were my brave ones that tried number 3? Let me see. Who are the brave ones that at least tried it? I know Jonathan did. I know Alexis did. Okay. And then Danny and Trey. Oh, some of you, your groups just stopped. Oh. Alright. Help me out, my people that tried it. And those of you that didn't have to try it, it's okay. Let's make sure that they're doing it right, because fractions are scary. So, what should go in my first box? 2u. 2u? 2u squared. Isn't it 2u times u? Right? Is that okay? Alright, hold on. People whose chairs are turned back, go ahead and turn them to the front again. Jeremy, go ahead and turn to the front for me. Thank you, thank you. Levi, you can go ahead and turn to the front too. Adrian, you too. Jonathan and Andrew can go ahead and turn to the front. We're going to try and fill in these boxes. Andre can turn to the front. Alright, we're trying to fill in our boxes with the scariest one of number 3, which some of you still don't have done yet because you're like, okay, yeah, we tapped out. Some of you are like, no, I think I have an answer. Like Jonathan's like, am I right? So let's check. I think you get them.
Yes, sorry.
So let's see. So for the first box, Adrian, you're tracking with me, right? 2u squared? Got it. As we move on to the, they all get nasty, right? Okay. Can I point to the next easier box? Or the next easiest box? I think this is the easiest one. 2u times u is 2u squared. This one's the next easiest one. 1.
1/2 u.
1/2 times u is just 1/2 u. Okay, woo, we got that one. Right? Starts becoming a struggle for these 2 boxes. Which one do you guys want me to go for? The top one or the bottom one?
First one.
First one, okay. If I do 2u times -3 over 2. Now, some of you might be able to do this mental math, and some of you it's confusing unless you put an over 1. Because how do we multiply fractions? Tops with tops and bottom with bottoms. If you guys needed to, you could have taken this off to the side. Sometimes in math we want scratch space. You can go somewhere else. We're trying to fill in the box. We can take it over here though. So 2u times -3 halves, or 2u over 1 times -3 over 2. Some of you would go straight across and get -6u over 2. And hopefully you would see you could reduce the 6 and the 2 to become, it is a 3, but a 3 on top. To be -3 over 1, which is -3u. Did any of you guys see that you could reduce right here? The 2 with the 2?
No.
Oh, that could have made things a little bit easier if you reduced the 2 with the 2. So you could have gone across -6u over 2 does become -3u, or maybe you would have seen that the 2 over 2 can reduce and you just get -3u. Either way, it ended up a lot prettier than I thought it was going to be. So how do we do that last box? Is it?
No.
Just write it. It's just 1/2 times -3 halves. Guys, you know fractions. It's not even adding, it's just multiplying. So 1 times -3 is -3, and then what's 2 times 2? Got it. Check the boxes or check the distributions, because we still have to combine. It's not like number 4 where we didn't have to combine. They were all different, so we were done. This one we do have to take each of our answers and then write it out, because there is one combination of like terms that needs to happen. But do you guys see how I kind of just used my scratch space to do the ones that were hard? It's just multiplying, right? Just write it out. It's not easier when you write it out. But now that we have all of our terms, okay, so we have our 2u squared, our -3u, our plus 1/2u, and our -3/4. 4. You guys see the terms that need to combine, right?
Yes.
Those middle two terms, they are like, they're both u terms. Remember, subtraction is adding the opposite. So don't I have a -3 that needs to combine with the 1/2?
Yes.
Out of all of the math, I think that's the worst. I think that's the worst, because multiplication isn't too hard if you just write it out. Addition can be a lot harder, unless you think in terms of like logical objects. If you have 3 of something, and you're taking away a half, wouldn't you have 2.5 left?
Yeah.
So maybe some of you can go quickly to -2.5. It's a negative because the 3 wins. Some of you might be able to do that in more of a logical way, but for others of you, you're like, how'd you get 2.5? So the other way is come over to your scratch face again and say, all right, I need to put -3 together with 1/2 by addition. Guys, we know we can't add numbers unless they have common. So we would throw that guy over 1. We would do what we have to do, which is multiply by the denominator. We'd end up with -6/2 plus 1/2. Oops, that's not a 2. You guys see why I put a 5? Why was I thinking 5? The answer is going to be a -5/2. Wait a minute, I thought it was -2.5. Do you know how to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number? Yeah, 5 divided by 2 is 2 with a remainder of 1. They're the same thing. So whether you got to this as the answer or whether you, to be honest, I like this one better because it's not all messy and mixed numbers. I should think this one's better. But technically I'm going to put an or because either one is okay. Alright, pause. Take 60 seconds to make sure you have this in your homework spiral because as I think Andrew Bosch, you were the one that told me, we didn't do a fraction example yesterday. So homework might have been a little bit of a slap in the face, like fractions, what? So we made sure to get one here in the opener so that way you guys have a nice example. You try together as a group and then I help you out. Which I am showing my scratch, right? So if I erased all my scratch and have that on a separate place. Fractions are scary. Now, right now, get it turned off and put it away. I'm looking at the worksheet you guys have for homework tonight, and I see only 1 with fractions. That's good. That's good. Out of 16, only 1 with fractions. However, you know what else I see in the worksheet? Not just these ones with 2 binomials. Wait, what am I talking about? Binomials means each one being multiplied only has how many terms? 2. But why did you just say trinomial? I totally agree. There are some in the end of homework and in your worksheet, there are going to be some with trinomials. You guys get to pick one person from each of your groups, just one. It can be the top one, it can be the one who's like the most outgoing, the one who likes writing on the whiteboard the most. I don't care. Pick one person and you guys work together one last problem. Ready, set, show that you can do it with a trinomial. Work together as a group, a table or distributing, I don't care. Table or
But
you say both? You say both?
okay, one person with the whiteboard. Make sure that you.
Woo! Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can like see understand all
Yeah, Sunny.
Wrong group. Wrong group. Supposed to be working together, making sure they're getting every single step right.
the way you write it down is
What do you think? I'm listening.
so should I write these figures like 3?
Do you see what size table you have there?
Okay, guys, I'll finish. I'm gonna send you kids in. There you go.
I can't make that one.
Does that make sense? You guys double check, did they get every single multiplication? I may do the table, because if you get something wrong, maybe you should be doing tables just to be safe. I'm going slowly though, I'm giving you a chance to get on your own first.
I didn't get this right away.
Oh, yeah.
I'm giving you guys a chance to get it yourselves first before me. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do 6.
So that's a 1D.
As long as you multiply properly and combine properly.
1D voice.
Here, you guys check it? Okay, no, I'm gonna do it real quick. I'm gonna see it. You're not gonna check it?
I got it right wrong. Plus,
You want me to show you the answer? There's a few people wondering if they got it right or wrong, so before I show the work, I'll show the final answer so you can go yes or no. The final answer should be after a lot of work.
2D minus 11 and all of this plus D plus 42.
That's right.
11. Huh? Yeah.
Guys, I did it. I did it.
Plus D.
Plus D.
This is the final answer. This is the final answer. After you combine like
What's up?
Alright, you guys compete. See if you got to the final answer. If so, your whole group can write down your work. If not, you might want to follow what I'm about to do.
Call it Abram. Maybe it is Abram.
It's like a
Abram, not Abram. I know.
Check the in-between steps. Now, some of you, if you're doing the tables, your boxes might be in a little different order, but should be the answers. If you're doing the distributions, you should have gotten these as each of your pieces as you were multiplying. So whether you're doing it in the table or with the arrows, you should have still gotten all of these pieces. And I was counting Trey's, being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to make sure he had gotten all of the multiplications. I didn't check all of his answers, but I made sure he had all 6 pieces. And then you have to go looking for those like terms, right guys? So subtraction is adding the opposite, and I have a negative d squared to combine with a positive 12d squared. 12 minus 1 was the 11. Easy compared to the fractions, even though it's like 1. Yeah. Weird, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Positive 7 minus 6, there's our 7 minus 6 is 1. And 42 had nobody like to combine with. 2d cubed had nobody like to combine with. You guys ready for the worksheet?
Yes.
Yes. Let's start busting out homework, yeah? I'll come around and pick up your whiteboards and your markers, so you don't have to waste time. You guys can just erase them. If you have any questions, Alright guys, open up your homework spiral so I can come around and look at your homework. We can work on your worksheet. Have your homework spiral open so that way I can just combine check for completion. Make sure you guys get your grade.
What class are you talking about?
English.
Yeah, you're not.
But guys, listen real quick.
You do?
Today's the time. Andrew Bosch, real quick. Real quick. Do you guys see how there's not much work, or, sorry, I shouldn't say work, you haven't done it yet, but there's not much space on this paper, true? Now, do you guys have some empty space right here that you can use? Totally, like that's a little bit of scratch space, but if you want, couldn't you, like, in your homework spiral, the next page, just call it like the worksheet and have, hey, Viva, you do this a lot, you can just use that for scratch space. You don't have to squish it all on here, but pause. Remember yesterday when I was grading homework and I called some of you out on the lack of work? As we were all doing problems, guess what I saw on all of the whiteboards?
Lots of work.
Work. Either tables or distribution, but you guys just proved me right that there needs to be work on these problems for almost all of them. Yeah? No, but you were getting them right though. Well, hold on. Okay, yeah, it was a smart move on my part. But at the same time, weren't you getting them right? So do the work and get it right, yeah? Okay, so if you need to, in your homework spiral, just start doing scratch work on or in your homework spiral. So when I grade it tomorrow, you can be like, here's my worksheet, da-da, and here's my work, ha-ha. Got it? Okay, go. It's homework. Why not get it done now? You guys have your groups. You can ask for questions. If you get stuck, you have me as soon as I grade homework.
Yeah.
What you're going to do right now is I want to see how much you try. Meanwhile, those of you with your homework out, I do have the answers if you need to grade. If you want to make sure you're good on homework, there are the answers also.
Oh, no.